Hi, uh, welcome to the latest vlog. I think it's September. Um, yeah, I figured we should sit down and have a chat that is hopefully not going to be like 10 minutes long like my updates tend to be. I'm really hoping for a vlog that's not over an hour long, but you know, we'll see how it goes. Yeah, I have not spoken to you guys in about a week. My time. I don't know about your time. Cause yeah, I wasn't really reading. I started playing a new game. I started playing Stray. It's a lot of fun. But oh my god, it is horrific every time you die. It comes up, we're like, oh, would you like to try like this section? It's saving like every minute or two. So I was like, do you want to try this little section again? And whilst that's up, you can just hear the noises as the mutant tribble things eat you alive. For anyone who doesn't know, Stray is a game. It's sort of like set in a post-apocalyptic world where you play as a cat and you've basically like fallen down into a wall, very, very, very deep down wall. You end up in sort of like a city filled with robots, partially filled with robots. There's not a lot of robots. And you're trying to make your way back up to the top. And yeah, it's kind of horrific at times, but it's a lot of fun to play. So I played that for a few days. And I was kind of humming and hawing. Honestly, I didn't know what to start. I hate that point where you're at the start of a lot of things. I like it when my books overlap, and none of my books were overlapping. So yeah. I have started listening to Children of Time by Adrian Tchaikovsky. I'm only about an hour or so into it, and right now my prevailing thought is this could be interesting. But my god, what is it with sci-fi and spiders? What is it with sci-fi and spiders, guys? Like, can't even. Don't get me started. Yeah. And then yeah, finally it's Saturday. And I've still been humming and hawing. I think I maybe might start Rhythmist by Brandon Sanderson soon. If only because Rosica recommended it to me. And I'm curious. She thinks I'm going to like it, so I do have it on my Kindle. I need to figure out where my Kindle is. Where was I? Yes, I'm going to start, maybe, undecided, toying with the idea of starting Rhythmist once I've actually charged my Kindle. And I might do a book-specific vlog for that one. But yeah. What I did do this morning is my Mr. B's book came in this week. And it's the Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches. So I started reading a chapter or two this morning. I finished it about 10 minutes ago. I was going to do shit today. I was going to batch prep a whole bunch of cooking. Batch prep a whole bunch of meals for the week. I was going to tidy my house. I did cut the grass and partially do the weeding, and I do have laundry out in the line, so I've not completely ignored my responsibilities today, but for the most part I have. Okay, if you can see Maisie in like rapt attention, there's a fly hovering up by the light. We're just dealing with it. We're just accepting it. But yeah. I was nervous about this because it was so hyped. I think it was around about this time last year it came out, sort of like autumnish last year. It was very much like on everyone's like books to read in autumn. And I can understand that. It's definitely, I mean, it's set in autumn. It just feels very autumny. It's actually set mostly in December. Guys, this is so cute. I might tell you more about it in the next update when I've properly processed and like taken it all in, but I started it this morning and I'm already finished it, and it is 7:30. This is... Bear in mind, I didn't start reading until about 10 o'clock, so, you know. In about 7 hours? No. 9 hours? Dotting in and out. I mean, I've been chatting to my neighbour at one point. You know, so it's not like I've sat and read solidly. It has been interrupted reading, but yeah. I really liked this. My initial thoughts is to give it 5 stars because it's so good, and I have just plowed through it. I'll spend a couple of days thinking and figuring out, like, is it a 5-star book? But I really think this is a 5-star book. It was so cute. It just... I adore the characters, like the children. I think it got quite a few sort of like comparisons to House on the Cerulean Sea, and I can understand why. But hands down, so much better than House on the Cerulean Sea. I loved House on the Cerulean Sea by the end. I loved this one from the start. I loved this one all the way through, not just towards the end. So... just the children are so lovely, and they make sense, and like their reactions make sense. At least I think they do. And it's just... how was it? Emily Henry described it as it's one of my coziest reads of last year. And I'm like, yeah, I'm here for this. This has, hands down, the cutest, coziest thing I have read this year. And apparently it was... I mean, I've kind of been in a bit of a romance phase anyway, and there is... Okay, this is... The point of this book is not the romance. The romance is very much a secondary plot here. But it's still... It's just so perfectly done. It's cozy. It's wholesome. It's just... Guys, if you take nothing away from this month's vlog... Go read The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches and fall in love with the characters the way I've just done. Now once again I have to decide what to read. I'm not going to pick up Rhythm Mist tonight because, one, Kindle not charged and just not quite sure where I want to go with that. I might properly start Divine Rivals. Maybe. I don't know. I'm going to go stare at my TBR shelves and probably not achieve any more reading today, because who wants to read anything else today when they've got so... This is just... It's leaving me with all the perfect, warm, fuzzy feelings. Like, if it wasn't still... I think it's still something like 20 degrees Celsius outside, I would properly be, like, wrapped up in a blanket right now with all the warm, fuzzy, cozy feelings. Yeah. I'm gonna go because I'm definitely not making any sense. But I just really need you guys to know that I've had a brilliant day. I have had such a good day just sitting reading this book. I'm sad it's over. I'm gonna say, like, its pacing has been so good. It never felt rushed or slow or dragging. It flowed so nicely. I think it's ended in just the right way at just the right point. So as much as I'm sad it's over, I'm glad it didn't, like, there was a potential to, like with a lot of books, you know, to let it drag out. It hasn't. It ends just so wonderfully. Yeah. The question is, do I try and find something with similar feels, or do I go for something completely different? I think I want similar feels. I'm very much in a cozy, lovely, wholesome, romantic mood. And what do I have on my shelves? I have no idea. 2 updates in 2 days. What is going on, guys? I'm thinking maybe if I update more often than sort of like once every 5 to 10 days, the individual updates will not be as big, but we'll see. But yeah, anyway, I actually have something to update you guys with. So you know how I ended that last clip with, oh, you know, I'm probably not going to read anything the rest of the night because, oh my god, Secret Society of Regular Witches is now stuck in my brain. Yeah, it turns out I did start reading. I did actually pick up properly. I have properly picked up Divine Rivals. It's the naked hardcover that's so pretty with the sprayed edges that, I mean, if you follow anyone who does Very Loot unboxings, y'all have already seen this copy. Guys, this one, it's actually, I don't want to say it's better than I was expecting, but it's kind of better than I was expecting. I was a little hesitant. I picked up. You guys will have seen from vlog clips. I've picked it up a few times now, and I'm a bit hesitant because this is a really hyped up book right now. So I don't know what I was expecting going in. And what I'm finding, it's just another chapter book. So, like, for context, Very Secret Society of Regular Witches was not a just another chapter book. That was I didn't even notice the chapters. This one, I get to the end of a chapter, I pop it down, I'd be like, you know what, I'm just going to read another one. You know what, I'll just read another one. They're relatively short chapters. I mean, I'm on, excuse me, chapter 15, and I'm 100 pages into it. So they are like fairly short chapters, so you can just add them in little bite-sized chunks. But this is, yeah, there's something about this book that's just, now that I've properly started it, I'm like, it's not going to take me long to finish. Quite frankly, if I didn't have plans today, I would probably just sit and read it today. I kind of get the impression it might not stay this way just because of where our character is going, where the plot is going. But it's just got an almost like a quiet contemplativeness to it. So Divine Rivals is basically, we have two rivals. It's rivals to lovers fantasy romance. We have, what is our main character's name? The last name is Winnow. She keeps getting called Winnow. We'll call her Winnow for the time being. But we've got Winnow and we've got Kit. They both work for the Gazette newspaper. They're both competing to be columnist. Winnow is basically, they're coming from opposite ends of the socioeconomic spectrum, scale, whatever. You know, Winnow is barely making ends meet. She is at home on her own with her mother, who is unfortunately an alcoholic. We're really not getting any support there. She is, you know, surviving on sandwiches for her dinner because that's all she can afford. And then we've got Kit, who is, I don't think he's quite upper class, but he's definitely like the upper end of middle class. Obviously working for the paper because that's what he wants to do, not necessarily because that's what he needs to do. And both very much at loggerheads from day one. But on top of that, we have this letter writing happening back and forth between the two. It's not too much of a spoiler because, like I say, I'm 100 pages in. You find relatively early on, Kit knows he's writing back and forth with Winnow. Winnow does not know it's Kit. Initially, she thought it was her brother who's lost at war. He does at one point go, "No, I'm not your brother," but hasn't actually told her who he is. So they're forming the connection there. So they're forming like that emotional connection through their letters and obviously fighting it out at work. The dynamic is a way to change just because of plot devices and where everything's going. I'm really curious to see where it's going. But yeah, so far it's just filling me with that. It's not a grip you on the seat of your chair high energy book. It's right now it's a quiet contemplative energy that might get a bit more explosive. But I'm probably not explaining this very well, but it's all I've got for you guys, so I'm really enjoying it. Like I say, yeah, I'm 100 pages into it, despite the fact that I was convinced I was not going to do any reading last night. There you go. So yeah, I am away going get ready for the day. Zoe and I have got tickets to see the Two Towers extended edition. What have I got on my face there? We saw Fellowship back in August. We've got Two Towers today. And then Return of the King is in October. View. So we're seeing this at Eden Court, which is the independent cinema in Inverness. View is doing the week back to back. Excuse me. So they're doing Fellowship next week, Two Towers the week after, Return of the King the week after. And I'm not going to lie, your girl is so tempted. I could totally go see Fellowship again. It's Lord of the Rings. I mean, can you see it too many times on the big screen? Especially the extended edition. But yeah, I have been to Tesco's. I have all my Hobbit snacks. I mean, it's like a 4-hour film. This Hobbit needs snacks. So yeah, gonna do that, and then I don't know if we have plans for afterwards or not. If not, I'm probably gonna come back, try and get a bit of cooking done for dinners for the week. But I'm on weird shifts, so I can actually cook in the evenings. So so it's not like the biggest deal if I just, tomorrow morning grab some like sandwich makings. And yeah, if we don't do anything else, I will come back and I will sit and I will read, and it will be nice. But yeah. Now, it turns out, for updating you guys, more frequently does nothing for the state of my clips, but oh well. I'll speak to you guys soon. Very, very brief update. Maybe I should have given Divine Rivals its own specific reading vlog. I don't know, it feels a little late to do that now, but I just need you guys to know that Iris and Roman are just the absolute cutest. They are breaking my heart. I'm in love with this story. I am utterly devoted and in love with this story. That's all I have to say. Alright, second time filming this wrap up. I filmed this wrap up, this wee vlog. This is gonna be a very short vlog. Shortish for me. I actually filmed the wrap up last night, but I forgot to put it into video mode, so there's a picture of me when I started talking and a picture of me when I finished talking. Yeah, I did good, but yeah, what happened? What did I talk about? I finished Divine Rivals. I absolutely adore it. I cannot recommend it enough. I think at the end of the day, you know what? I read it at just the right time. Although last week, Scotland and Inverness, we were in shorts and t-shirt. This week we have fully embraced autumn vibes. I nearly said fall vibes like I was an American. No, autumn vibes, autumn. The trees and the houses just across from me are slowly, you can see a little bit of the leaves are starting to change colour a little bit, and my god, the temperature has dropped. Maisie and I haven't had to put the heating on yet, but we have got blankets out. I did get my hoodie out last night, and I know one of my colleagues was texting me earlier saying I've just put my heating on. Like, no. So yeah, it was Divine Rivals was like sort of like just the perfect. I'm not saying it's like a super cozy book because it is set against the backdrop of a war. It's like a World War II inspired, god-driven war. But it's definitely not like a summer beach read. Maisie, what are you doing? You just okay. Yeah, it's just, it hits all of those sort of like cozy autumn vibes that You've Got Mail hits. It is basically You've Got Mail, but in a World War II setting with magical typewriters, and it's like You've Got Mail is one of my favorite. I would go so far as to say is my favorite rom-com. It's not my favorite film of all time, but it's definitely my favorite rom-com. I absolutely adore it, and Divine Rivals just hit all of the same sweet spots. I cannot recommend it enough. Yeah, now I have to wait for the sequel to come out whenever that happens. I don't even know. I'm definitely going to pre-order it, but I don't even know when it's out. So yeah, that's me. Um, Life-wise, work has continued to be work. I'm still waiting to hear back. I hear back about the interview I had. They did phone to basically say we've appointed half the positions for one of the teams. So basically, like two out of a potential eight positions have been appointed, but they're waiting to see the outcome of. So the wastewater, two of the wastewater positions have been appointed, but they're waiting to see the outcome of the clean water position interviews, which happened this week and next week. Mine's already happened because they just used the one interview. So it's gonna be at least a couple more weeks before I hear anything. So I'm trying. It's hard, but I'm really trying not to think too much about it. So naturally, everyone asks me. Like I think there was one day I was like, I successfully did not think about it, and I like by the end of the day, three people had then asked me about it. I was like, have you heard anything? I'm like, no. I was so nervous about this interview. I couldn't not speak to people about it. Like I couldn't like pretend it wasn't happening. I couldn't keep it like under the radar. But God, I wish I had, because now everybody's anxious for me. Yeah. I also had to on Wednesday, um, I had to film like this promo piece for work where internal comms came in and they basically wanted like one of us to do like a day in the life, like film like a mini day in the life of. So I had to take this guy around the lab, sort of like explaining what we do on an average day, like how does a lab run and things. And there was this really awkward question right at the end where he's like, so, like what does the future look like? So it's like, what does the immediate near like future like? You finish work, you go home, what you up to? So I was like, oh, I'll go home, probably just read a book or whatever. I was like, and then the further future is, oh, well, you never know what opportunities, it's like I've been here for 12 years, so obviously I like my job to a certain extent. But we'll just see what the opportunities are. And I could feel all the eyes in the room around me going, why have we got her doing it? She's trying to get out. But yeah, it was interesting. We're going to be sent like a copy of it. So if I can sneakily film a copy of it to show you guys, I might. If not, just take my word for it that I spraffed a whole bunch of corporate BS and pretended. I mean, I say pretended. I know how to do my job, but it's just awkward when you're on camera. And yeah, especially when like I wasn't allowed to look at the camera, but when I speak to you guys, I have to look at the camera. It's so bizarre. It was such a weird experience, but I got a biscuit. He gave me an Empire biscuit for doing it, so it was kind of worth it. But yeah, that's all I got for you guys. We're gonna make it a relatively short vlog, definitely compared to the last one I gave you guys. And cut it off here. We are now halfway through September, and we're gonna start a new vlog. My next vlog is gonna be the next two books that I start are going to be Fourth Wing and Haunting Adeline. I have a feeling I'm going to get through them pretty quickly because they're very anticipated books. And yeah, one of my colleagues is actually bringing Fourth Wing in for me today to borrow. She texted me this earlier, about half an hour ago, saying I've got it in with me. So it's there. It's sitting in work waiting for me. And I think I'm going to do sort of like book specific vlogs. So my next update for the rest of September's vlog, you won't hear me saying too much about those because you'll get their own specific vlogs for those ones. Just because they're really hyped, and I think I'm just going to want to speak about them as I read. So yeah. But yeah, anyway, I'm going to shut up. I'm going to stop rambling, go grab coffee, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next vlog. Bye bye.